It's March 30th, 1971, and we're in Seattle. Three friends named Jerry Baldwin, Zev Siegel, and Gordon Bowler decided to start selling freshly roasted coffee beans together. They did this under the name Starbucks Coffee, Tea, and Spices. More than 50 years later, the company has grown into a major global player. With a value of more than $100 billion, revenue of $29 billion, 32,000 businesses, and more than 300,000 employees. Dizzying numbers that have not been achieved without a struggle. How did Starbucks grow into the global company it is today in 50 years? After the start in 1971, the innovative concept of the three college friends quickly started to stand out in the American city. Howard Schultz, an American businessman, worked curiously and visited the facility. Totally impressed by the concept, he became director of marketing at the Starbucks branch in 1982. Shortly afterwards, Schultz left for Milan, a city in the country where drinking coffee is deeply ingrained in the culture. Why couldn't this coffee culture work in America in combination with Starbucks' own beans? Schultz wanted to start selling coffee and espresso drinks, but couldn't convince the original owners. Schultz opened his own coffee shop called Il Giorno, and meanwhile the Starbucks branch in Seattle started to deteriorate. It eventually came up for sale. In 1987, Schultz decided to acquire Starbucks for $3.8 million together with a number of investors. In retrospect, the start of unprecedented growth. Because with CEO Howard Schultz, an unprecedented advance started. No less than 2 years later, the number of Starbucks stores was already 46 with location in Chicago and Vancouver. Before we go through the further timeline of growth, there was first an important adjustment in Starbucks' strategy, which means that we know the current Starbucks as it is today. After a third redesign of the logo in 1992, Starbucks embarked on a new course in 1994 with the acquisition of the Coffee Connection. This is where the world-famous hip drinks such as the Frappuccino originated. Despite the fact that it is against the shins of the Italian coffee culture, only this drink brought a lot of money into the cash drawer of Starbucks. Between 1995 and 2012, no less than $2 trillion to be exact. The start of the sale of tea and snacks also resulted in a higher hierarchy in the place of important places for people. In 1996, Starbucks opened its first restaurant outside the United States. In Tokyo to be exact. Not much later, the other continents followed, so that Starbucks is now located on every continent. But what makes Starbucks so good and distinctive from all other coffee shops? Why would you rather pay a few euros extra for that Starbucks coffee than that other coffee? There are two important parts in this that are important. Brand experience and location. Starbucks is a star when it comes to marketing and brand experience. As soon as you step into a Starbucks store, this radiates on you everywhere. The clothing of the employees that is strictly prescribed, but also the complete appearance. The luxury, tranquility, and warmth it radiates. The name that is written on your coffee cup and thus gives a sign of personal attention. It all ensures that, as soon as you walk down the street with a coffee cup with the Starbucks logo, you are proud of it and like to show it to others. In addition, it is the location. Have you ever seen a Starbucks in a deserted city in a sad alley? I do not think so. Starbucks is located at a location. Think of airports, busy cities, and unique buildings. Everywhere there are people, there is Starbucks. This is clearly directed by the company. However, Starbucks also had problems after the Great Recession unfolded all over the world in 2008. Schultz, who had already stepped down from his position as CEO, blamed a number of wrong decisions that were at the expense of the Starbucks concept. High-speed espresso machines and easy-to-reproduce store designs slowly took the soul of the store out. Unlike the three founders, Schultz had always viewed Starbucks as the third place to stay next to your home and work. Places where you could get together with other people. An alternative to watching television at home or a place where you could escape the daily vicissitudes. A second home for which you did not have to get in the car, or as he called it himself, the place on the corner. Adjustments were made in the company, such as installing good internet connections. As a result, Starbucks no longer became the third place to stay for many, but it also replaced the workplace and rose in the ranking of important places. It now opens a new branch in China every 15 hours and, in 2022, is still working on its mission to inspire and nurture the human spirit one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time.